Must have made it.
No,
Great.
we're
Said two.
over.
That's two.
So do we have to go back and make motions on all of these now?
No,
No, I think we,
I'll make a motion that we accept all
Accept
the
all.
changes that we discussed earlier.
right,
Who's seconding that?
Second.
all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Ayes have it.
I would take my motion back. Yes, I don't take but mine.
I could, if you're interested,
Yeah.
we'll take a couple minutes. Yeah, I'm gonna try to do that now, okay? I can do it, so it's a little sheet.
So we don't talk about any articles until the selectmen actually,
Yeah.
which will be at the budget meeting. most likely.
That's okay.
You got a minute? I got something, nothing to do with officially the budget, and I'm not asking as the budget committee, but as individuals. Since the last select board was not gonna do anything about it, I was curious on thinking of doing a warrant article regarding raising any funds or expending any funds from a capital reserve account. Would have a detailed plan of where that money's going. Just any thoughts on that? For or against?
But I don't know what you mean by detail, because usually when money's
Yeah.
taken out of the capital reserves, there is detail.
They have to be
Well,
detailed.
when it's raised for on the warrant article, it's pretty vague.
I think what you're referring to, Jake, is what I proposed last year that was shot down by the select board.
Correct.
To do what? I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
I think what he's getting at is what I proposed last year during warrant article season, shot down by the select board. And what I proposed was that there be no, a town ordinance that said there'd be no money taken from any capital reserve fund unless that department had a capital improvement plan. Because it had to put some teeth into the fact that we have no capital improvement plans. The only way you're gonna have that happen is to put an ordinance or some teeth into having something done, some carrot and stick to make that happen.
Well, and the second part of it was to create a plan that I think should be done by the budget committee, not by the planning board, that would outline something like that.
The law says it's the planning board that does it.
No,
The
but
law-
Because I've done a lot
But it
of
doesn't
them.
have to be.
The law has no teeth in it. The law gives the planning board no authority to do anything about it.
Gary, I did a lot, when I was selectman, I did a huge amount of work on trying to get a capital improvement plan.
Selectmen, exactly, that's what I'm saying.
But
The select board and the
I just did the research, but it all came down to the fact the state told me it had to be done by the planning board.
Well,
Or-
it doesn't have to be called a capital improvement plan lined out by the RSA. It can, this might
Well,
be
it should be.
well, if it's not gonna happen that way, you can make it another way and just don't, it doesn't have to be called a capital improvement plan.
But I understand, and again, I haven't talked to the planning board members, but I understand that they're going in that direction.
It's going nowhere. Russell brought it up, Russell resigned.
It's not gone any further.
I haven't been actually.
Because the planning board has no authority to make it happen.
I'll,
Yes, they do. They have 100% authority to make it happen.
How?
No, she's,
How?
they do.
The town voted for the planning board many years ago, 86, I don't remember, to do a capital improvements plan.
And what makes the other people that need to supply the data for it, all the departments, pony up and give it to the planning board and get them to do it?
Well, the planning board needs to approach them and say that
Right.
we need this from you.
And what do they do if they don't get it?
I'm listening.
If you put a town ordinance that says you can't take any money from the capital reserve unless you have a capital improvement plan,
You can't do that.
why not?
You can't take any money from a capital reserve fund. The people in the town vote for the, why are we, if that should happen, what if the people in the town, they're gonna vote for it, but you don't allow them? We just raised all that money for the capital, for the warrant articles, et cetera, and it doesn't happen. All that money goes in the general fund if it doesn't get spent.
No, it doesn't. It stays in the capital improvement plan until
Well,
it's authorized to be spent.
so that was.
I think you need a capital improvement plan.
Well,
But if you have
don't-
capital reserve,
If you call in a capital improvement plan and then you're following the RSA's direction on that, it doesn't have to be that. It can be something completely different on the same outlines with a different name.
I don't know.
And the planning board has nothing to do with the budget in the first place.
Yeah, they don't. I'm missing out, like, if we have a capital reserve for fire apparatus,
but
Yes.
isn't
and
that,
somebody takes it out to buy a piece of fire apparatus, you mean they
But
shouldn't
isn't-
be allowed to do that?
No, no problem.
isn't that what you were
That they
saying? You
would have
can't have it?
They'd have a plan of what it's being,
Have to
when
have a
it's the money's
capital
being
reserve
raised and
plan
spent,
to spend
that there
it.
should be a plan for what is being spent
I
on.
mean, what the ultimate goal is, so let's say the highway department needs a new grader, it's $200,000. They say, we're saving up money in our capital reserve to buy a new grader. Is that
For a
the sort of thing that
specific
you mean?
goal, for a specific thing, yes.
So
Not
suppose
a-
that they're saving up for the new grader and they're like, got up to, $85,000 and the 10-wheeler blows up and they have to buy a 10-wheeler, but now they can't use the money that they've already raised.
You can put a special exception in there that says in emergency situations, it can be voted on by a majority at the select board and the budget committee. There's ways of doing that.
I don't know if that would fly.
But is what you're saying for if we have warrant articles on, that you are not allowed to take any money out of the capital reserve fund unless you have a capital improvements plan?
Yes,
Does that, I understand you correctly, that's what you're saying?
otherwise you're not gonna have a capital improvement plan. That's why the town's never had it before.
So what you're saying is that the town votes to raise all this money, and all the money that we already have in the capital reserve fund, that's gonna sit there unless, and they're gonna be punished if they don't have a
Unless
capital.
somebody writes a capital improvement plan that says,
Well, why are you putting it on department heads?
because they're
Why
the
don't
only
you put
ones
it
that
on
can.
the select board?
Well,
I'm
the
saying
select board
that it
has
should
to
be
enforce
run-
it.
That it should be run by the budget committee.
Select board has
You-
to
But,
enforce
but
it.
RSA
makes that
says that the
It's-
planning
no,
board
it
does it.
doesn't have to be a capital improvement plan by the letter of the RSA. It can be.
So
something
you
else.
just-
It doesn't matter what you call it, the budget committee doesn't have the authority to
It should
expend
be
funds.
advisory, my idea was advisory, not that it should whatever, because the head of the department sometimes come, and their budget might not be exact, they don't know what they do, but the budget committee should be the people who know what the
You have to put a
town's
carrot
budget
and
or the
stick
needs
to
of
make
the
it happen.
department should
That's the
be.
only way it's gonna happen. I've heard talk about it
But
since
you
the
can't,
nineties.
but you can't do that.
Why not?
The head of departments come anyway to the budget committee and go through all of this anyway. So the budget committee can say, oh, this department needs this department needs that, but the head department are not talking about large items that are coming up.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, but like the thing with the budget committee, they hear all the departments and they hear everybody's, if everything goes according to Hoyle, then the department heads go to the budget committee and tell them what they need, tell them where they're at. So like when we vote for their budget or not, we have a pretty good idea of what's going on. But as far as expending, that's where our authority ends.
Right, you're giving much
We can
more
only
control.
budget the money.
No, it's given, no, it's.
That's why it's called planning, Jake, it's looking ahead, that's why we have a planning board.
But
to look ahead.
it would be.
Yeah, for the
It's
capital,
advisory
like in the warrant
anyway. The
articles,
capital
yeah,
is
it's
fine.
only
Yes,
advisory in
it
that
is.
case.
So it's not.
And it's a
Recommend or
10-year
not
plan,
recommend?
it's not next year, shut everybody down.
No,
It's a 10-year plan,
It's a
or
6-year
6 or
plan.
10.
As far as-
Oh, but and keep it that way, be advisory, I'm not saying.
But he wants to do it next year, he
Why
can't do
would they
that,
start
you know,
Work on that
it's
this year?
6 years.
Did they start with
You
that
have to
this year
work
in the,
on it.
but in the
Yes,
planning
well,
board? I mean, what?
6 years is fine, whatever the appropriate
Yeah.
years are.
but it's been, I mean, when I was on the planning.
Everyone's
board,
been saying that this has been talked about since 1990, it hasn't been done.
1986.
So whatever.
Well, and
It's not
I
gonna
know
I
that
bring it up
planning boards in the
every
past have played around with the
time.
master plan, but like, that's never gotten
My
anywhere.
brother.
It's never gotten beyond
But
the.
that's just remember directions.
That's who I was thinking of, you know, 'cause you
That
can
was
never
the
get
thing.
agreement out of everybody.
Instructed.
Yeah.
Well, you can do a
No,
budget session.
I talked to Angus and he's.
Warrant article.
Yes, you can.
He's really.
Yes,
And that's
you
what
can,
I'm
but it would be
saying.
advisory only.
Yes, and that's what I'm talking about, at the very least do that. If people
He's
don't
looking
want to,
for a
people
new
don't want
member
to.
of the
Yeah.
planning board to.
But here's the thing,
There's a new, there's a new
it's
member
not
to-
just the planning board, the select board can set up a committee also to do the checking.
Yeah,
Where's that?
but they're not
Oh,
going
no,
to.
There's two slots that's open,
There's two stuff.
so it's one of the two that are elected together. I don't know.
Why are you laughing? Because I'll never get it?
No.
Because I'm stubborn, aren't you?
So we're supposed to get, you know, 2 to 3 inches of rain Sunday night, I heard. It's gonna warm up to the 50s, and then 2 inches of, you know what it's gonna do
It's
to
going
the
to rain
stream
and
behind
rain
my
and rain
house?
and rain. I don't think the ground's frozen enough yet for it to just be like. What's that? All right, so my dog's at home.
I canceled my, it's the latest thing I did.
Thank you.
You know, the streaming TV, you probably don't have it because you don't have any money. The streaming TV services they have, I got rid of DirecTV and I started using YouTube TV. It's only $40 a month. The next thing I know, it's like over 100, and they cut off the sports that I like to watch. I went to Fubo. They were only $40 a month, and I could watch Neston or all that stuff. Next thing I know, it's $90 a month. I said, I don't want any of that, so I cut it out.
What, so you have no TV?
Well, the thing with the internet, I can stream, if YouTube has got so much stuff on there that you can watch. There's so many things out there on the internet that you don't need this streaming TV. And you watch the news, all those people are liars. You know, David Muir and Nora, you watch the network newses. Certainly not worth paying anything for, so I kicked them out of my house. And actually, I took the TV out of the living room and put a chair there.
I don't know what chair their television on, and probably 4 chairs.
Watching, I'd like to have people sitting in the chair and then I can talk to them. Better than TV.
All right, I'll come and sit in your chair.
Well, you know, then we talk to you.
No,
If
you don't
you were
want
there-
to talk to me, tell me now and I will come.
Sneaky.
So we wouldn't remember.
It's $1,360,156.
Oh, could you say that louder?
Very
136.
quiet, usually people come in and interrupt the meeting with opening the door. I was shocked when I turned, I heard a noise and I turned
Or
around.
6%.
Roughly what?
6% increase.
All right, I want my money back.
That's pretty good considering what health insurance did. The health insurance, that one line item is killing the budget.
No, that's if I computed everything. Okay, I'll go over the figures again and send.
Might be cheaper to hire our own doctor as we used to in the past.
Yeah, that would be a nice idea. We could take one of these old buildings that we don't know what to do with. Put a doctor in there.
The library.
The parsonage,
Oh, that's right.
that'd be a nice neighborhood for, you could make house calls or shade. Have a black bag, remember the doctors had a black bag, they come to your house, the things they stick down your throat.
Okay, are we ready to adjourn?
adjourn until Thursday, next Thursday.
So you want me to send out
Yes.
Yes,
everything
please.
to the department managers
Yes, please.
with their budget sheets?
I get some wonderful teachers, they have zero teachers.
Okay, sounds like a plan.
My computer at the moment is sitting at Best Buy, it's on the
Oh, sorry about that. It's James.
have we actually formally done?
Not yet, we have another motion, he's making a motion,
I made the motion.
and motion to,
Yeah.
okay, what time is it? 8:45?
What was that? Night time? Do you know what that is?
I'll second that motion.
It's the church that's never used. Would be nice to change. What a beautiful building.
Yeah.
That never changed.
I went there today, I took the picture, you can see this little dot here, that's a reef, I went and bought a reef, I put a reef up there. I did. Well, this summer, I went up there,
I said, how nice is that?
because I'm on the Historical Society, and we did this, I had never come up here, and I came up there, and the grass is like this high, I don't think it was ever mowed. And like, there's this thing on the side of the building, right next to the door, I didn't know what it was, but when I went up and looked at it carefully, it was sticks. Somebody must have put a swag there a couple Christmases ago, maybe 200 years, I don't know. It was old.
Well, good, no, I can hear you.
So we have a nice new one. I might go up tomorrow and shovel the steps. I noticed I didn't bring a shovel. And the driveway's not plowed. What happens if there's a fire and your driveway isn't plowed?
But it's usually
Not that that's that far off the road, but still.
You can buy me at least
Nice to be working.
but he's budgeting for that.
Oh, you're talking this fire down over here. Yeah, that's becoming, that's looking nice.
You see, just keep it in the general fund.
It's that way. No, I thought it was over this way. You mean the center, the meeting house? Yeah, that's coming along. It's looking good. I've seen pictures of the inside.
It's incentivized.
You know what drives me
Disaster
wild?
without us.
Absolutely wild, is every time I go to Ford Danbury and to see the Ford Cemetery sign that's like this, drives me crazy. It's like, why could they?
But they will
Straight-
incentivize making larger budgets.
Is it a new
Keeping in
sign?
mind that if
Is
there's
it just been, so nobody's taking care of
It's
it?
the one,
Oh,
no,
that's
what they
what
did
it
was
is.
they didn't.
That's where they put it in.
Well, they-
Danbury, you know.
No, it's Grafton.
Oh, it's Grafton? Oh, it's
Ford
Grafton.
Cemetery.
Well, the thing is,
Yeah.
I think it's settled, right?
Oh, it's always, no, it's always been, it's always clean, yeah.
It's gonna have to
And
stay that way
there's
for the
sand
winter.
and all these beautiful signs, and
Yeah.
it drives me wild to see that.
Well, it went from last meeting
No,
to
we have to-
15%.
But those signs really look nice.
They do.
Yeah, they look great.
You know what they did
You're a
last
nice sign maker.
Cindy did last year, actually, she took them down for the winter.
Yeah, I know, I heard that.
Which was, really